We are in search of symmetry. Welcome back to the shop and episode 3 of Tree's Magic Door. Now, these are the sides of the bookcase. It's going to be the door. And it's going to be symmetrically divided top to bottom with a fixed drawer in the middle. Give it more stability as well. And then I'll be drilling holes for shelf pins. Crew was expecting me to do the dados with those hangers. I like shelf pins better. They're a little less obtrusive. So what I've done here is I've drawn a line across both pieces exactly in the center. I have these wonderful center finding tape measures that the top is the inch scale, the bottom is a half scale. So you take like this. Oh, that's that wide, so that's the center. So that I've got. And then what I did is I marked up 3/4 of an inch from that center line, and that's where the shelf will sit on the piece. Now I'm going to put two pieces of the 1/4 inch, 3/4 inch ply on here, one on each piece, each side. Now what that's going to allow for me to do is get symmetry top to bottom with the shelf pins. So I take my shelf pin jig, which I'll show you later, and set it down here up from this with a space or something, then drill the holes here, 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 and here, all 4 places. And they'll be symmetrical top to bottom, side to side. So the first thing to do is to use my large square, line that up with the line this up with the square, and tack it in place with some pins. This is a painted piece, so it doesn't matter we got pins in there. The same thing over here, line it all up. Now I've got this to line it up with. Bring in the piece, make sure it's flush and lined up with everything else, and pin it in place. There. Now I've got my center starting point for symmetry to go either way for the shelf pins. And what I also want is the same gap here at the center shelf as the top shelf. So you don't just have holes going completely up and down it. Really what you need is about 8 inches up and 8 inches down, and then the center pins should be here. 6 to 8 inches. So you can set the first shelf wherever you want and then build from there. I think we're probably going to have 3 shelves, movable shelves, top and bottom, and then the fixed ones in the center. Without further ado, as I like to say, without further ado. So let me get my drilling jig, and we'll start working on this. This is my drill guide for doing shelf pins. It's a Craig unit. Yep, not a sponsor. I just happen to like this one. I've had one other one that was plastic with holes drilled in it and used a drill guide. Not very robust. This has metal inserts here for the drill guide. And it has a alignment pin for moving the drill guide up and down the workpiece. I'll show you that in a second. But neat thing about this is you'll note that the holes are close to one side. The fence is over here, and I've got this set up the way I want it, which is the holes closer to the edge to give the shelf a little more, broader stance to sit on. But if you want the holes further into the workpiece, these fences come off and they snap in place on the other side. So you can either put the workpiece, have the holes further in like this, or further out towards the edge like that. So I've chosen further out to the edge like that, so that I've got like I said, I've got a broader footprint for the shelves. Now, how does this work? Well, most people know how they work. You get a drill bit with a collar, a stop collar on it, and that fits into the guides, and a stop pin. Well, I don't have to have holes running this whole thing. There's going to be a section in the middle where the shelves can go, and then they'd be clear everywhere else. There's the temporary, you can see that's a temporary pretend middle shelf. So what I've done, I got a piece of poplar that's 5.5 inches, place that up against there, against this shelf stop, and measure that to the hole. That gives me 6 1/4 inches, and I'm good with that. So now, with the clamp, it's the Craig clamp. Clamp it down. Make sure it's not on the bench. Now I'm ready to go, and I can drill all the holes. Now, the cool thing about the stop pin is once I drill these holes, I can move the entire jig up, put the stop pin in place, and now I've got symmetry and I've got equal spacing all the way up and down. You'll see what I mean when I start drilling the holes. So let's drill some holes. So my spacer block, the drill guide in place, clamped, and now we take the very precise 5mm drill and start drilling holes. Okay, holes drilled. Now all I have to do is take the jig, bring it up to this last hole in the row, and put that in. There's an O-ring on this thing that keeps it from popping. I got another one. It's a little looser. I'll put that one in there. So that goes right there, like that. And then I clamp it in place again. Move it down into camera range. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the third. Maybe, let me measure this. I'm going to go up to the third one. This is the top. I'll go up to the third one. No, I'll go to the fourth one. That'll give me more symmetry. So I'll go up to the fourth one here. Oops, I went one too far. That's okay. It's livable. Take this off. Pull it out with the pin. Get the pin. Yeah, well. Of course, it needs some sanding. But that came out pretty symmetrical. So there you go. I have one row of holes. All done. Now all I have to do is duplicate that 7 more times. Voila. All the holes are drilled. Nice and symmetrical in a nice pattern. So she can have shelves. If she wants more shelves, we'll make more shelves. But I think 3 and 3 plus the center shelf should be plenty. But I think we're going to end it here. And next time I will be assembling this part of the... No, I think I'm going to assemble the casing first and get that all aligned and everything. And then we'll work on this. So until then, make great things out of wood.